All right, go ahead.
Welcome back to Hot Skunk Works. We're gonna make
Skid plates.
skid plates.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
We are going to do something that has never been done before. The cheapest third-gen Toyota 4Runner in the entire country. Welcome back to Hawkeye Skunk Works, where I have bought another 4Runner. Seriously.
It just got deep.
Ruh-roh.
Dad, everything is blowing!
So it's a little after 8 o'clock and it's dark and we're in bed.
Well, we finally got unstuck. That was a little ridiculous. Welcome back to Hawkeye Skunk Works. It's Friday night. I'm hot. I'm tired. It's a week and a half until ATR, and I'm wearing safety glasses. But the skid plates are done. Yes, the skid plates are done, and I think, yeah, let's just take the camera, walk around, and jump right into it. Alright, so we're underneath the 4Runner. Got the front bumper here, and as you can see, I've got skid plates starting right at the lip there, held into place with two factory bolts. And there's a metal bracket behind those bolts, and I used a hole saw and drilled a bunch of holes in here to get some more cooling. This is basically to keep, this was a huge gap in here, so here's my hand. It's about, so that's like 8-inch gap there. All kinds of room for debris, sticks and stuff to get kicked up, bounced up in there right into the evaporator core and the radiator. So that was real easy. That was just a flat piece of aluminum. And then what I did was got a, this is a piece of angle iron that I welded to this bottom core support here. Real easy. And then it comes up, and I just drilled and put 3 riv nuts in there and screwed it together. Pretty self-explanatory. There was a factory piece on some of these 4Runners. Mine did not come with it. Moving back, we've got a factory skid plate here, which is the basis for what you'll see afterwards. All of these, there's 4 mounting points on this plate and 4 mounting points on that back plate. That's actually off of 5th gen 4Runner. 4th gen, 5th gen, and FJ cruiser skid plates, 99.9% the same. So here's the good stuff. These are my skid plates, and I figured I'd show you them sitting here before I bolt them on and show you what they look like while they're on. It is made out of what I assume is 1/4-inch diamond plate. It actually measures with a micrometer between 3/16 and 1/4 inch. I don't know if that's like 1/4 inch nominal, kind of like how lumber is, but that's what it is. It's what we had between me and my dad laying around. So this is the front plate, obviously. 2 holes there. Don't pay any attention to that. That's nothing. I promise. It's nothing. And then 2 holes down at the bottom. Over on this one, we've got, this is the front. 3 holes holding it on to engine cross member. 2 or 3 holes in the back, in the middle there, holding it on to the transmission cross member, which I will show you more of that, and 2 holes in the back holding it onto my custom made cross member. There's a hole here, and there's a corresponding one on the other side there. And I have no idea what was bolted to there to begin with, but it was a bolt hole. It was tapped. I think it was like a 6mm or 8mm. There was plenty of room for me to re-drill it and tap it 1/4-20. All these bolts are 1/4-20. And so I did that on the front. That's how the front skid plate attaches. And then the back factory skid plate underneath the engine pan, there are 2 more riv nuts in the very back. and that is holding on that one whole front aluminum skid plate. 2 bolts there and 2 in the back, and I just used Allen head bolts with washers. Now, I can already tell what some of you are going to say. Joe, that doesn't seem very strong. The skid plate is just bolted to the factory skid plates with 4 1/4-inch screws. So let's take a minute to talk about kind of my idea of why I built the things the way that I built them. I live in Iowa. These skid plates are built and designed more for oops, I didn't mean to do that, not hold my beer, watch this. That doesn't make any sense. Alright, so what I'm talking about is if I'm going down a trail that I would choose specifically for this type of vehicle. Like, a lot like the stuff that we did last year at ATR. I'll drop the links to those videos down below and you guys can watch that. Not incredibly difficult stuff. It's more for getting outdoors, exploring, and seeing nature. I'm not going to King of the Hammers. It's not going to the Rubicon in this trim. You know, it is, like I said, made for if I'm going over an obstacle and I slide off and there happens to be something that would protrude and stick up into my undercarriage that I was trying to go over, this will protect me from that. The mantra that we 4-wheel under is, which basically means I'm going to be 10 hours away from home in Tennessee, or X amount of hours away from home, because pretty much no matter where we go wheeling is not where I live. So I have to wheel smart. I have to be careful, and I just want things to be protected so that, like I said, if something oops happens, I don't catastrophically break anything underneath and we're able to get home. Okay, dude, but aren't all the rocks just gonna hit all those hex head bolts and grind them all off, or break them off, or make them so you can't unscrew them? Fair enough. That's not perfect. That design is not perfect. But again, I'm not a rock crawler. This is not a rock crawler. Whatever, dude. My IFS Toyo's on 37s. I eat boulders for breakfast. Now, I realize that the bolting that front skid plate to those front 2 factory sections, you're probably thinking, why didn't you just bolt it to where those skid plates bolted to and get rid of them? Well, it was a little bit more difficult than that because a lot of those mounting points are recessed up above those factory skid plates because stuff protrudes down. If you look at any aftermarket skid plates, you'll see that they've used like pipe and tubing and stuff as spacers to drop those skid plates down past that stuff. And ideally, this is like a first iteration. I plan on moving forward and making them better, and I need to find somebody that does some aluminum welding so that I can kind of build that gap in and get rid of that steel, because I honestly think that the 1/4-inch tread plate is plenty strong. Now we got the skid plates on. You can see how those front 2 meet up real nice there. Got our 2 Allen bolts in, and this is the factory skid plate, so it does not come all the way over. Part of that reason is because if you can see where the control arm is there, I could only go over a couple inches on each side more. And again, maybe version 2 will have that. The biggest reason is because that's how wide the piece of diamond plate was that I had. So there's that. Some companies make the skid plate to mount. They bolt to this engine cross member here, which is where mine bolts to. And then it comes all the way back, and it may or may not have a bend, because technically you could angle it, and it will bolt in between this cross member and these braces. Well, it's going to hit these braces then if you're trying to slide on something, which, let's be honest, I'm not running huge tires and a ton of lift, so I may be sliding across some things. So I want it to be smooth as possible, and honestly, the 4 bolts holding these in are totally rusted on, and I was not going to get them off. So that led me to bring it underneath, which led to another problem. There's only a couple things on this Toyota that I really scratched my head on what the engineers were thinking. And one is this cross pipe, the exhaust. It hangs down, I'm trying to show you, below this cross member. So that's weird, right? So what I did was I used some 1-inch channel, and I cut a little chunk of that, about a foot across, welded it to this cross member, which dropped it down just enough to clear these support braces and the exhaust pipe perfectly. So from that cross member all the way back to, try to show you guys, the tail shaft of this transfer case, the beginning of the drive shaft, which is right up there, right behind this cross member that I built, is all one flat, smooth piece for sliding across stuff. You can notice here, that's the factory skid plate underneath the engine in the middle of the shot. That does sit a little bit lower than this rear skid plate, and that's just how things worked out. It's not a big deal. It's still one big smooth piece going all the way back, more or less, which I'll show you when we're done with this. You can see where those two skid plates meet up there, and they're almost the exact same height. So we go back here, you can see where I've got that 90-degree bend notched out to accommodate for that cross member and that support brace. You can see the end of my transfer case there where the drive shaft attaches to it, and you can see my DIY cross brace right there. It's bolted in with riv nuts, and I again tack welded the riv nuts in, one on each side. This is 2 pieces of 1.5-inch square tubing. The top piece does not go all the way across because it would hit the shift motor for the transfer case. We also have, right in the middle of that square tubing, I have a piece of angle iron with a couple riv nuts in it, and that is how that is all bolted together. Yes, I could have just bent this piece of aluminum up and bolted it to the back of this, but it would have been kind of a compound up and then back and then up to get it snug up there. And we made all these bends on the aluminum with the vehicle not present, so for a first time this was just a way easier solution. It's super strong. Anything that would hit back here, my transfer case and my yoke on my drive shaft, will be saved. I'm more than confident that all that is going to be plenty strong for the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing. Especially that rear skid plate. There's so much just open space there for stuff to get, lobbed up into that transmission oil pan and the transfer case. That rear cross member is really stout, and when it's all bolted together, I can jack the vehicle up on that piece of aluminum with my floor jack. So it's plenty strong. I'm not worried about any of that there. It's going to give me a lot of peace of mind when we're in Tennessee and wherever we may go after that, if I need to drag the bottom across on something, I can do that. So if you guys have any questions or comments, some advice, things that I should change to make it better, please feel free to leave all that info down in the comments below, or email me, hawkeyeskunkworks@gmail.com. Head on over to Instagram and Facebook to make sure you follow me there, because if you were already a follower over there, you will have seen some of the skid plate stuff, because I posted some spoiler pics in the month leading up to this video. So hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, turn those notifications on for the next set of videos, which might be the DIY rock sliders, which is also pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. But until next time, thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye. Oh, that's terrible.